WKKP Digital Broadcasting, Chicago, Illinois, for LUTG Radio. This is Kathy Brooks reporting more on the shooting in Love's Field. It turns out that the issue was a domestic dispute between a man and the mother of his children. The lady and his mother of his children, as well as his children, were both in the minivan, and he was throwing rocks at the minivan. And apparently, when the police asked him to stop, he didn't stop. He said, supposedly, he said something to the effect, "I'll go ahead and shoot me," which might have been a bit of sarcasm. We don't know because we weren't there. There is some video that was shot and posted to social media, so we are definitely looking for that as well. But the question goes to, it says that he was throwing some decorative rocks from some displays that are displayed around the airport. And some of those rocks are fairly large. So him being able to pick it up and thrust it a bit of a distance, it's highly unlikely. Maybe he had a medium-sized rock. I'm not entirely sure, but a rock compared to a gun is really not a serious fight. So I'm wondering, where are the skills for the police that will require them to talk a person down? At what point did the police not think that, hey, let me see if I can try and talk him down? Because you can see that the man was evidently frustrated and upset to the point that he's throwing rocks at a car that has the wife or supposed wife or mother of his children, as well as his children, in the car. So deadly force, while a police officer's life is always on the line every time he steps out the door, you don't necessarily have to shoot every suspect that comes before you. He clearly had a rock and not a gun. According to reports, he had a rock and not a gun. So I'm wondering, at what point will the police begin to give your everyday officers, your average officers, skills on talking down a suspect rather than shooting a suspect that clearly does not have an object that could do any major damage to you? Clearly, there was another way out. Now, while I'm not blaming the officers because we don't have all the information as of yet, but it comes to mind that we wanted to try and avoid any additional protests. We want to try and avoid any additional shootings based on color, of course, and we want to try and preserve life. So again, the question is put out there, which is an obvious question. Why didn't the officer try a little bit harder to talk them down? If he felt like it was such a grave situation, then how come he didn't call for backup? How come he didn't call for somebody that has the skills to talk him down? You see what I'm saying? There should have been something in place where somebody that has those sort of skills that is trained in talking a volatile suspect down, that they could have come in and talked him down rather than shoot him. And so all this occurred at about maybe 12:20 this afternoon in Love's Field, which is near Fort Worth, Texas. And so, again, Fort Worth, Dallas, Texas is in that area. So, again, there was a man that was shot at the airport. He was taken to the hospital. It's reported that possibly anywhere from 5 to 9 shots were fired. MSNBC is running the video, and you can clearly hear the shots popping off. So, and we are aware that when police shoot, that they shoot in bursts. And so it seemed like it was about maybe 3 bursts that came out. Pop, 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 pop. And we don't know whether or not it was more than one officer shooting. And so, again, was this really worth taking his life? And anytime a person tells you, go ahead and shoot, that tells you automatically that person is not in their right mind, even if it's sarcasm or even if they're real. But anytime a person tells you, take my life, then you know automatically this person is not sane, this person is not in the right mindset, and this person is desperately crying out for help. So again, my question would be, when will the police begin to start using some of those skills that they supposedly had been trained in, which evidently they need more training in the ability to talk down a talk down a suspect. I'm reminded of another police officer, who just a few short weeks ago, and this was circling on the social media, who who was had to apprehend a 300-pound man that was over 6 feet tall and mentally retarded. And clearly this guy could have barreled him down, but instead he decided to talk to him. And he got this mentally retarded man who normally, it's upset and will just swing at people. But he was able to talk him down and get him to not be upset. Now, this person was mentally retarded. That was one 18-year-old young man that was mentally retarded. So if this officer could exercise the humanity to talk him down, why can't every other officer in the United States take the opportunity to, when you see someone in trouble and they're telling you, take my life, shoot me, that is an instinct right then and there. Something should snap in you that says, wait a minute, this person really needs help. Instead of shooting this person, I need to talk them down. You feel me? So I'm hoping that going forward, we can begin to assist people in the things that they need rather than kill them and deal with the fallout later. All right. This is Kathy Brooks for LUTG Radio's WKKP Digital Broadcasting, Chicago, Illinois. And we'll let you know what else is going on. Pray for them, y'all.